Welcome to FBB Forum. My name is David, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow the FBB Forum Instagram page and YouTube page. And the links are listed below down in the comments. I'm very pleased to welcome the stunning IFBB Pro women's bodybuilding and physique athlete, Cheryl Mears, back to the podcast. Cheryl last
Thank you.
competed. Nice to see you again. Cheryl last competed at the Daytona Pro show in 2023, and she was hoping to compete earlier this year too, but it was just not in the cards. However, stay tuned to find out where she'll compete next. She is very inspirational and has overcome a lot of obstacles to become a top pro bodybuilder. Welcome, Cheryl. It's great to have you back here again. I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate it, David. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Now, the last time we spoke was back in April of 2023, and I'm just wondering, how have you been doing since then, and what's new in your life?
Well, since then, I think that's when I started prep for Masters Olympia at that time.
Yeah.
And so I competed then, what was that, in August, and then Daytona, of course, at the end of September. So it was kind of a whirlwind year for me, because on the personal side, a few months later in June, my mom was diagnosed with lung and breast cancer, not breast cancer, I'm sorry, that was me a couple of years ago, brain cancer.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so well, she was diagnosed a few years before that, but that's when it became terminal.
Hmm.
So when that happened, my life was very busy because I'm prepping for show. I'm still working, very stressful job. And then every moment that I had after that was with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my life. I'd go to work, I go to the gym, I go see my mom. And that was just all the way up until I'll say, I'm sorry, I'm getting my dates so messed up. Sorry about that.
No problem.
So it was August, and unfortunately she passed away on August 12th of that year, which
Okay.
was about 2 weeks before Masters Olympia.
Oh, yeah.
So I was excited to go to Masters Olympia, of course, but you understand where my heart was. It was tough, but we
Right.
still, we still keep going. Her and I had many conversations over this, and her thing was, life is meant to be lived. You continue to do that show, and you prep, and you work as hard as you can, and
Okay.
that's what I did.
Okay.
And
Good. Yeah.
it worked out where I got sixth in women's bodybuilding at the show.
Yeah. That was
I was
great.
very excited about that. I was like, first call outs. I'm like, whoa, it's me. This is awesome, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I do come in very shredded. I'm very proud of that fact. However, I was smaller than most of the girls. But one of the reasons why I was able to get first call outs was because of my posing and because of my ability to be shredded. But next time, I am definitely bringing more size to the table. I'm already there. We just have a few more months to go this year, to go ahead and keep growing, and then showcase that off sometime next year. So I'm excited about that. But Masters Olympia was a dream, and I hope I'm able to go back next year. But one of the things is that since I'm not competing this year, unfortunately some things happen, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Because I'm not competing, there's very few shows in the beginning of the year that would qualify me to go to Masters Olympia in 25.
Yeah.
Or you could be invited, so you just have to do the application. Where in 23, it was all application.
Yeah. That's right.
And of course, I was excited to see my name on the list. Like, whoa, this is awesome. So I'm really hoping to see my name on the list again if I don't win a master show before then.
Oh, yeah. And then that's kind of exciting. It's going to be in Tokyo this year too. That's really
Yeah,
exciting.
because I remember a few months ago they said it was going to go back to Romania. So I'm assuming it's still that. And then we see Tokyo. I'm like, whoa, what? I've never been. And that would just be so exciting to go back there. Shoot, I'd be 58. I'm just trying to think, I'm 57. Yeah, I'll be 58 then. And most likely the best shape, best package to date. Will definitely be next year.
That's
So
terrific.
I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Excuse me.
You
That's,
okay?
yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I won't let me there. No,
It's
that's
all
exciting
good.
though, and I do hope you get back to the Masters Olympia. And that it was great to see that come back last year too. And I know looks like they're just going to alternate it every other year maybe now. But it was
Yeah.
an excellent show, and really it showcased the Masters competitors so well, I think. So
They treated everybody so well over there.
really,
I
yeah.
just I can't say enough. They all did a wonderful job. Jake, Alina, everybody there did such a wonderful job that I can't. I mean, I'm trying to think. Was there any negative, part of it? And absolutely not.
Hmm.
From the moment you got in there, the moment you got on stage, everything, it was handled so professionally. And
Cool.
it was such excitement going in there. I
Yeah.
remember seeing the venue, before the show, and I was just like, wow, this is so huge and it's so nice and everything.
Cool.
Yeah, they did an excellent job. So I was very excited about that, and I got to see, some of my favorites, especially Linda Murray. Her and I talk periodically, so we got to talk over there again. And
Great.
I kept seeing Jay Cutler everywhere, at
Oh,
the
really?
gym. I just kept like running into him at breakfast. It's like
Oh,
that's kind of weird. And I remember it was Sunday morning, and I got up early just to do a little cardio, just kind of, work off the food, you had the night before,
hmm.
and I'm, doing my treadmill. And here he comes walking in. We're the only two people in the hotel gym, and
Oh,
he's doing his bike. I just said, hey, I didn't want to disturb him,
hmm.
guess it's like everybody, first thing in the morning, you just want to zone out, do your
Yeah.
thing, kind of thing. And then, I go to breakfast and there he is again, kind of thing. So I just kept like running into it. And then when me and my coach were leaving to get a cab, here he is again. So it was nice to see him so many times.
That's
But yeah,
great.
again, it was really nice seeing all the competitors being on stage. One of my favorite parts was the pose down.
Yeah,
Rashada, I went up to her and I said, "Girl, let's do this." So we got up there and we did like some tricep moves and different things like that. So
nice.
yeah, I was very excited about that.
I bet that was a great experience. Yeah, that was exciting to see up there. And yeah, I hope you can get back there for Tokyo for sure. Um,
Yeah.
Now I know you had originally mentioned that you were planning on competing this year, but that it didn't work out as planned. So what happened for this year?
Well, right now, I had planned to compete in Tampa. And as I was starting to go through prep, my body just wasn't responding.
Mhm.
I can't really answer the specific things, but things weren't responding. For some reason, my upper was coming in a little slower than my bottom.
Mhm.
And that's not me. That's not the typical me. And I really couldn't answer that. It just seemed kind of weird. So I kind of took a step back and I said, Cheryl, you missed Tampa. It's not going to happen. You
Mhm.
started prep for Pittsburgh and your body's still not responding. This is not typical you. What is going on?
Mhm.
And honestly, I had to make, a harsh decision because ever since I started competing in 2016, I've never missed a year except in 2020 when I almost died. Okay. You
Yeah.
can cut me some slack there, give me a break,
Yeah, yeah.
you understand.
I
Okay.
understand.
And even in 21, I competed at the end of the year once, I started to learn to deal with my new body, having an ileostomy, all the challenges that come with it. So I've overcome a lot. So I'm like, Cheryl, what is not right this year?
Hmm.
So I took a step back and I said to myself, okay, your body's not responding. Um, and one of the things that I really needed was um, better training.
Okay.
I knew my training was off. And not to say like you're not doing lat pull downs and different things like that, but I just needed a different technique, a different way, because I knew with that, let's say, enhanced training, I could do so much better. In my gut, I just knew it. So I'm like, I could go to Pittsburgh, okay? I could compete. However, if I go through that whole process, and let's say actually now to September, I've lost the opportunity to grow.
Yeah, I
That's
understand.
not what I want to do. I just don't want to lose all that muscle that I've gained.
Yeah.
So I took a step back and said, I'm not competing.
Okay.
It was a very emotional moment for me to say, I'm not competing, because anybody in my inner circle knows that's not Cheryl. She'll compete, she'll do what it takes. So for
Yeah.
her to stop, something is just not right. So I
Yeah.
decided to stop. And then another emotional thing was as I changed coaches.
Yeah.
And the main reason is that I knew I needed a different style of training.
Yeah.
Every coach that I've had from the beginning of my career has taught me so much. And sometimes you just need a different perspective. It's not to
Yeah.
say any coach that I've had is bad. They've all gotten me to a point where I'm at now. I just needed that extra step. And I'm very in tune with my body, especially with the condition I have. I have to be very careful of what I eat, how I train, etc. I'm different than most bodybuilders. Most bodybuilders don't have any ileostomy, okay?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
do have to do things a little bit different. So when I tell somebody something, I kind of know what I'm talking about because I live with this condition every day.
Yeah.
So I made the move, and it was harsh to go, you're changing coaches, you're not competing, and you're going back into bulk mode. And it's a chance that this may not work out either. And
Yeah.
now, if it doesn't work out, I've wasted a whole year.
Okay. I understand.
And with my condition, I don't have a lot of years left. I mean, that's the reality of my condition. So every year to me is important.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, Cheryl, let's do this. So I started with my new coach, and the first week was we talked daily about training, and he would tell me exactly the way he wanted me to work out on each day. And it was very detailed,
Hmm.
down to the hand movement, the placement, I mean, I've never had somebody talk to me this way before.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I was excited, but I'm still skeptical.
Okay.
So we started on a Thursday, and he gives me the training, and we go on a Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday's my rest day. Okay, so obviously nothing. Tuesday we get the new training. Then Wednesday comes, and I'm texting him, I'm like, hey, when are we gonna get together about my training? And he goes, no, today's a rest day. And I go, no, 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 I have my rest day on Monday. And he goes, no, today's a rest day. And I'm
Hmm.
like, listen, you're confusing me. I've already rested. So I'm thinking, what's up with this guy? We're ready to rest day. And he goes, no, you get 2 rest days. And I'm like, no,
Oh.
I've done 6 days a week for as all I can remember. Every
Uh-huh.
coach I've had, 6 days a week. No matter if you're tired, whatever, you're doing 6 days a week. And he's like,
Oh.
no, you need that rest to build the muscle. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, here we go. This isn't good. I'm not saying it won't work, but I'm like, Cheryl, you're going to get 2 days. You're not used to this. Just chill.
Hmm.
So it was kind of an awkward feeling. Okay.
Yeah. I
And then
understand.
I'm feeling real stupid a couple of weeks down the road because this was the best thing ever.
Oh, well.
So the next week comes up, and the same thing. You get 2 rest days. I got a Monday and a Wednesday. So then we're talking, and I'm like, listen, I'm opening up, and I'm like, listen, I haven't had good sleep in years. I'm always tired and sluggish and all that. So then we started talking about my life, my work, and the workout. So he goes, okay, let's do Tuesday and Wednesday, around my heaviest days at the office. Very stressful, a lot of meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
then he programmed the different workout days based on the rest days.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
see.
I'm like, wow, this is good. But I said, I can't do 2 days in a row. And he laughed at me, and he goes, no, you're going to do 2 days in a row. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. And I go, well, what's the next workout after I rest 2 days? And he goes, back. We want to kill your back. And he goes, that's what we need. So after 2 days, he goes, you're going to be so hungry to get back in the gym that you're going to kill it, you know? And
Oh,
he was
nice.
right. I went in there and I'm killing. I'm like, I'm loving this. My
Nice.
my
Very good.
PRs are going up, you know, my strength's going up. We have changed nothing except the way we rest and the
Mm.
way he's telling me how to work out. And I'm just like, okay, I'm sold. Because the first time that we actually spoke for a long time, he said to me a couple of things. He goes, listen, we're going to focus on food, we're going to focus on training. And he goes, you're going to eat a lot, you're going to train efficiently and effectively, and you're going to love the gym again. Because I was starting to dread the gym. I knew I had to go, but it's like I'm not seeing the gains for all the effort I'm putting in. And I'm like,
Yeah,
there's some little switch or whatever that needs to change.
I got you. I
And I'm
understand.
thinking, this is beautiful. I really want this badly. So it took about 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm sold. I'm seeing my body change. I'm eating the food. I'm starting to get thick. Um, and the plan is so simple when it comes to food. And I like simple plans. Don't complicate anything with me because I've got so much going on in my life. You
Yeah,
know, if
I
it's
understand.
simple, that's all I care about.
Okay.
So him and I are both in sync on that. So then what was it? It was about 4 weeks in, and the first week I was doing the Jesus curls, you know, like that.
Uh-huh.
And I took a video. And about 4 weeks later, I took another video. And periodically, I just do videos for myself to see, you know, how I'm progressing. And I looked at the first week and I looked at the fourth week and I'm like, no way. I'm like, this can't be it. So I'm comparing them and my lats are coming in so nicely. I've
Nice.
never had that before. And I'm like,
Wow, that's great.
whoa, this is amazing. And then I did a 6 week comparison. I did it the last day I was in prep for Pittsburgh
Okay.
to 6 weeks after I started with Brendan. Because basically, once I stopped prep, I went immediately with Brandon. I mean, it was a few days in between, but you know, pretty much it was pretty quick after that. And it was night and day. My
What?
upper had changed so much. My
Wow,
back had changed so much. And
great.
it's all the intricate details that he explains to you for the training. Now you got to put in the work, of course. You got to put in the effort and make sure you're doing it exactly. But
Yeah,
if you do it, it works, you know.
yeah,
So I'm very excited about where I'm going to be in just a few more months when we start prep. I think it's going to be a nice change because my back has grown and improved tremendously. I'm even like taking those back pictures. I'm like, whose back is that? Is that mine? I'm like, yeah, that's yours, Cheryl. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty cool. So you know, and I want to feel that way. I want to be a kid again. You know, I
yeah,
because you spend so much money and energy into this, you got to have fun with it. You know,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I'm probably not going to be the next Miss Olympia, okay? And I'm okay with that. But I want to be the best Cheryl I could be on that stage. And
yeah.
with my condition, okay, this is no easy task for me to be
Oh,
on stage.
I bet.
It is
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
I can't absorb most of my food, the nutrients, having your intestines part of it out of your stomach. I mean, people will probably go, ew, why is she talking about this? But this is part of my life that I
yeah.
have to live with every stinking day.
I
So
understand.
I want to put in the best effort. So when you see me on stage and you see that bag, it's not, wow, she's a great bodybuilder. It's more of, look what she's overcome. Maybe I can do that. Or maybe I can overcome something. That doesn't have to be bodybuilding related, but maybe I can overcome something in my life that I thought I could not,
I think
you
that's
know. And
great.
I was at a posing seminar last Saturday. What was it? Crunch in Daytona. You know, they're getting ready for the Daytona Pro.
Yeah.
And Michael came up to me and he goes, I can't remember who it was he was referring to, but they got a colostomy bag. And that's just a bag on the other side for when you have colon issues, but it's still a bag like I've got.
Yeah,
And he was, talking to this person, and again, I wish I could remember who this was. And this person was very upset about this. And he said, I showed her your picture and you're on stage and you have this, and it just changed that person's world. I
that's
mean,
awesome. Wow.
their perception of what they could be. And that's why I keep struggling to do that, because it's just so heartwarming to see somebody, get inspired like that. It's I wish I had better words right now, but it is very it's heartfelt. It really is.
I think that's terrific. Yeah, you are very
Yeah.
inspiring, I think. And that's cool to hear that. And just
Yeah.
we didn't say his full name, but Brandon Ray is your new coach. So
That's correct. Yes.
yeah, so
He's
I
my
know
new
he's a really
coach. Yep.
good coach too. So that's good that you're working with him, I think. That's a good move on your part. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very easy to get along with. All my coaches have always been easy to get along with. I've never had anyone who was difficult in any way, shape, or form. They've all been great. But on this level, I've gotten so much knowledge, with the nutrition and the working out and all that, that it
Mhm.
just got to a point where I just needed to step up my game.
Yeah, I
And
understand.
he is the right person for me at this moment to get me to that next level. And
Okay.
he's very encouraging too. And that's what I like to hear. But also, he's honest. And I'm one of those people that don't sugarcoat me. Don't tell
Yeah.
me, oh, you're great, you're wonderful, and I have no muscle. Be upfront with me. You could tell me if, I stink, I stink. Tell me. But I also expect you to tell me how I can improve. And
Yeah,
that's, give me tough love, but give me a way to get better. That's the way I look at it. And he seems to be that right fit right now.
that's terrific. That's really cool. I'm glad you're working with him.
Yeah.
Now, when do you hope to compete again, or do you know offhand where you'd like to be next year?
I don't have an exact like show or date. We're looking at seeing how I'm looking maybe in about 2 months.
Okay,
So you're looking
good.
at maybe November, maybe December, going into a prep, and that would take me into the earlier shows, the
Yeah,
April, May shows. Because I don't know how much longer I could stay in prep anyway. I'm ready to, go, into a prep.
yeah,
But I want to be safe, and I want to bring the best package that I can. I feel that I'm doing this right now. I'm not as heavy as I was earlier this year, like when I ended bulking the first time.
okay.
But I feel that I have more muscle mass and more density to my muscles, which is definitely a more positive note to be on right now.
That's great. I think doing an early show is a great idea too, because
Yeah,
like a triple O or like a Pittsburgh Pro or something like that. That
exactly.
yeah.
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 So, and I'll do both, open and masters. I plan to do both.
Oh yeah. Okay, good.
If the show has a masters, component to it, I plan to do that as well.
Okay, good.
Because I still want to go to Masters Olympia, but I love being with, the open women,
Yeah.
I just feel that it gives you a competitive advantage because you're learning from the best. You're on stage,
Yeah.
you're getting that, and not for nothing, just, meeting them and becoming friends and having that camaraderie with everybody, I just love that part of it,
Oh
so
yeah.
that's why I want to do that, and also more stage time means, a better stage presence. Well, hopefully that's what it means anyway. So, I just love being on stage. I mean, because what I do for a living, compared to the bodybuilding world is pretty boring. I'm in an
Mhm.
office all day long. I'm
Yeah.
dealing with computers and people and cybersecurity and all that. And I love that as a career, but I also love bodybuilding too.
Yeah.
So the
I
two
understand.
worlds seem totally off. It's like, you're in an office all day and then you go on stage, For the people in my office, they're like, wow, that's so awesome, because they don't understand, like what's it about. They're like, oh, it's a beauty contest. I'm like, no, it's a
No.
little bit more than that,
Yeah.
Some people go, oh, you wear a bikini on stage. No, that's not what it is. But the average person, they don't know. But they're
Yeah.
still impressed with what I do.
That's really cool. Yeah, that I
Yeah.
was going to ask you in terms of I know you work in IT and work for a local electric company, and how's your
Yes.
work going?
It's very stressful every day. I do love it. I love the challenges I face. I mean, I've been in this field, I'm dating myself here, like 40 years. And
Wow.
I've been at
Really?
that company, well, maybe 39, 38, but I've been at that company for 27 years.
Wow.
So my
That's impressive.
expectation, of course, is to retire from there. I'm very comfortable, everything that I'm doing. I would not be at that company this long if I didn't think it was a good company.
Yeah.
They're like a family,
Nice. Yeah.
The way I look at it is in 2020 when I almost died, I was out of work. Well, I was in the hospital 2 months, and I think it was out even another 2 months. What company would let you not work for 4 or 5 months and still have a job, especially during
Nice.
COVID? And
Yeah.
there was no stress whatsoever
Hmm.
about me losing my job. I knew it
Wow.
would be there.
That's great.
And that's the kind of organization I work for. And I will stay there until it's time for me to leave. I really enjoy it. I have a great team behind me, and I can't say enough. But it is a stressful job. Every day there's something going on, and it's not a 20. I mean, sorry, it's kind of like a 24/7. Even though, like, let's say we work 8 to 5 ish. There's stuff that happens on the weekends or at night. You got to
Yeah.
do patches and maintenance and updates, and so you are working different hours at times, but I've been doing it so long that I'm just used to it. It's part of my life, and it's part of my bodybuilding, so I could still get my gym time in, and I can still do my shows and everything, so it works out really well.
That's great. It sounds great. Like really
Yeah.
supportive too. And we've been pretty fortunate not to have too many hurricanes yet too this year. So that's
Oh,
helpful.
don't say that H word. Don't say the H word.
Oh,
You
I'm
just
sorry. I'm
jinxed
gonna
us.
jinx it.
Yeah,
No, I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. Yeah.
No.
Well, we're getting close. I mean, we're in September and we haven't had anything hit Florida really hard, but that's a very stressful time for us because in
Yeah.
April we do what we call disaster drill day, and we test all of our systems, not just IT, but the whole company. So we're testing all of our systems, making sure we're ready. And that's a lot of the stuff that, especially me, that I do with my team is we prepare for the worst. And of course,
Yeah.
hope for the best, but we're always preparing for the worst.
I
Always
understand.
drilling, always testing, not just on one day that's designated, but all the time. That's what we do. And
Yeah.
it is very stressful, but it keeps you on your toes, and it keeps you very, um, I'm trying to think of the word. I'm going to say, your brain fresh, and I can't even think of that word. But it keeps the thought process going, definitely, especially when you're in prep and you get that brain fog.
Yeah.
And I go to
Uh,
work and I'm like, whoa, I could still think about stuff. This is awesome. But then there's days that I really feel stupid because that brain fog it's definitely a real thing, especially close to showtime.
oh, I know. I've heard that from other competitors too. I know that's tough to do. Yeah.
So
Um,
sometimes what I'll do is I'll write notes on my desk, like common things that I can't forget, because when I get really close to show, I do forget some of the stupid little things.
oh
So
yeah.
I'll write myself notes so I don't forget, like a lot of calendar reminders of things that you normally, like, I come in on a Monday and I do payroll, and there's certain things that I do, and I don't have to have a calendar item to remind me these are things that I do. But when I get close to prep, it's a calendar item because I will forget. It's like, hey, did you submit payroll? I'm like, oh, I was busy. No, I wasn't busy. I just forgot because I'm 2 weeks out from show,
Yeah.
so
I
those kind of things
understand.
happen a lot.
I
Yeah.
understand. Uh,
Yeah.
I was curious, how are you doing health wise this year? I mean, has it been a pretty good year for you in terms of your ostomy and just general?
Um, it's been okay. When I started to go prep, one of the things, unfortunately, I developed an ulcer.
Mm,
and having some minor issues with my ostomy that I'm clearing up right now. So it was a good thing that I also stopped prep because of that, you
Really?
know. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Hmm.
average person, you know, would continue with it, and they would be fine. But with my delicate system, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I
Because
understand.
you know, because I've only got a very small amount of intestines left, and I have to be very careful, because that's my lifeline. And if that
Yeah.
goes, I go. So, not trying to be morbid, but that is the reality in my life. I have to live with that every day. But I don't, how can I put it? I don't let it overcome me. I
Okay.
don't let it depress me, and I don't let it take over my life. I know some people they do,
Hmm.
um, and they just stay home and they're just waiting for the inevitable. And I'm like, it's
No,
not worth it. Go out there and
no.
do whatever you can. Now, I'm not saying, you know, go take trips and spend all your money and go bankrupt and stuff like that. You know, I'm not saying that, but kind of enjoy your life, you know,
Yeah.
don't, you know, let it be depressive. We all have things in life, you know, a lot of things that people don't even talk about and they're going through. And you might think they're the happiest go lucky person and they're going through some trauma that you have no idea about, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I'm just like, do the best you can. You know, that's all I could say. It's
Yeah.
hard, but,
I
and
understand.
one thing that I love doing is helping, inspiring people. That kind of gets me through what I'm going through. It's like, if I can
Yeah.
help somebody, that's
Sure.
pretty cool. And
Yeah.
especially in the gym, when I can help somebody train better or grow better, I'm like, that's a win for me, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I was curious, what do you think about the women's bodybuilding and physique season so far this year with the pros, and are any ladies that really impress you that you'd like to shout out?
Well, I mean, we just, you know, had the Rising Phoenix. So you got Angela, is it Yo? I never say, you know, pronounce her last
Yeah.
name.
Uh-huh.
Shocked the world, you know, over that one. Of course,
That was
Andrea
great.
Shaw. So those are, you know, two of my favorites, you know, of course. Irene Anderson, she's done a few shows. She did that. She just did the one in Romania.
Oh, that's right, the Elena Popa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the Elena Popa one. Yeah, so she did that one. I was hoping to do that this year as well, but of course, you know,
Yeah.
decided to hold out, you know, and maybe next year, you know, I'll do it depending on, you know, how things go because I love her as a promoter and her shows are excellent, you know. So I would love to do one of her shows.
Now, are you going to
So
stick with women's bodybuilding? Because I know you did physique and bodybuilding last year, I think.
right. I did women's physique at Daytona Pro. I am going to stick with women's bodybuilding next year. I just feel
Mhm.
more comfortable with women's bodybuilding.
Sure.
Nothing against women's physique. They're some of the best women I know. I've got a lot of women's physique friends, you know, Sharonica, you know her very well. Her and
Yeah.
I are friends. Her physique is amazing. To me, she is classic women's physique right there.
Yeah.
You know, that is it. And so like whenever I see her, you know, I'm just like in amazement, you know, over her physique. So they are such hardworking. It's a hardworking division. It's just something about women's bodybuilding I just like it's a little bit more, you know, you could do your fist a little bit more, you get the side chest, you get that little grunt, you know, kind of going. And I think I really like it because when I was about 18, 19, I wanted to get into bodybuilding. I really did. So I got one of these women bodybuilding books and I'm in my house. I got my little bench with the weights, you know. There's no way I could have been a bodybuilder using the stuff that I have.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I got diagnosed with ulcerative chronic colitis back then.
Okay.
So any chance of me bodybuilding was out the door. I was constantly in hospitals, my health was bad. And back then, there wasn't, people are going to go, there's no way. But there was no internet when I got diagnosed,
Oh,
or it
yeah.
wasn't as mainstream. You know, people are
Yeah.
like, wait a
Yeah.
second, what is she talking about? Everyone had the internet when they were growing up,
Uh-huh.
not us. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you had to like research, you know, your condition and stuff, unfortunately, you had to trust the doctors. That's all there was and whatever they said. So
Yeah.
I was
I
constantly in
understand.
and out of hospitals, the medicine, being sick. for many years.
Really?
It got to
Wow.
the point where, what was it? I was 19, then I got to about 33, 34, had my two kids, and they were very young at the time. The condition got so bad, I was constantly in pain. I couldn't go anywhere because I just never knew when it would take over. And then I elected, not was told, but I elected to have my colon removed because I was told that would cure me. That did not cure me. It made things worse.
Really?
But
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it made things worse. But I trusted, and there was no research for me to go to. It was just doctors. Every
Yeah.
doctor told me, you take this medicine for a few months. If your condition doesn't get better, get your colon removed. That was it. I think I went to like 5 or 6 different doctors. Every doctor told me the same thing. It was a
Really?
cookie cutter plan.
Wow.
And
Oh, man.
nowadays, I'm not saying it's better, but there are some alternatives that maybe could prolong something like that.
Hmm.
But you did what you have to do, and
Hmm.
that's what it came down to. And then over the years, things just got progressively worse. And then all of a sudden, around 2014, 2015, my body kind of took a change and it started feeling better. It was like really weird.
Hmm.
So I'm like loving this. I'm like, wow, I'm feeling healthier and I can eat better and I'm not in a lot of pain as I usually am. Now,
Hmm.
instead of going to the hospital every month, that may be every quarter, maybe twice a year. I mean, for me, that's great. And
Yeah.
then I got back into bodybuilding. So I think the mental part is when I was 19, I wanted to be a women's bodybuilder. So
Hmm.
now I'm able to lift weights. I want to be that women's bodybuilder. That is the only reason
That's
that,
great. Yeah.
desire from when I was, I won't say a kid, but a young adult. So I'm grateful that I get the opportunity to do that. And
That's
maybe in a
great.
few years when my body is like, Cheryl, you got to slow it down a little bit. Maybe I'll go back to women's physique and stay in the master's class. Not saying women's physique is easy, but there's certain body parts that you don't have to bring up as much as you do women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So that way it could help me out. That would be the only reason.
I understand that. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I just have one more question for you. I was just
Sure.
curious how your family's doing and your two kids. How are they doing?
They are doing great. My daughter is a couple of hours away in Gainesville with her boyfriend, and they're starting their new life without mommy. I miss them, but she is
Yeah.
doing great. She's working in the insurance business now,
Oh,
just
yeah.
trying to find her way of where she wants to be.
Okay.
And my son, he is actually in going to college at UCF. He's studying to be an engineer.
Oh,
What
yeah.
I thought was pretty cool is at my company every summer they have an internship, and what they did, they hired him for an engineering internship, and it was amazing. He was there 12 weeks. Even the CEO came down to tell me what a fantastic job he's doing. And when they have an opening, they would hire him. They were so impressed with him.
Terrific. Wow. That's
And so he learned so much. I mean, he was going out in the field and having a great time with all the engineers and learning. And his boss at the time would give him work, and he couldn't keep up with my son. My son would get it done, and he's like, I got nothing else for you to do. And he's
oh.
like, well, I got, I'm just sitting here getting paid doing nothing at times because my son was very, he was very quick and he did everything, detailed. So he really loved it there. So
Nice.
now he's back at UCF
Okay.
and he's signing up for the ROTC.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Nice.
I had no I thought the ROTC was something you did in school and that was it. I
Yeah.
didn't realize you actually have to enlist afterwards.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I
with
had no idea. So he's doing Air Force
oh, okay, cool. So he could be an
and he's
officer when he
going
gets out. Yeah.
exactly. And he's going into this field. And if anyone knows what this is, please explain it to me. He's tried, and it's like over my head. Photonics.
I've heard of that. Yeah, that's all over my
Yeah,
head too.
try to
Yeah.
explain it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he explained it to me, and I'm like, dude, can you like lower it a little bit? And he tries to lower it, but I'm still like, whatever. And it was funny because when he started at the job that I'm at, and he was talking to the VP of engineering and all that, and they're asking him, "What's your interest?" And he goes, "Photonics." And everyone's looking at him like, "What's photonics?" And he explained it, and they're like, "Oh, okay, but why would you want to do that? Hardly anyone does that." And
Hmm.
my son's like, "That's why. How many people know how to do photonics, but how much is the demand out there? There's a lot of demand for it, but
Yeah, I
very few
understand.
people know it."
Ah,
So I thought that was
interesting.
pretty interesting. So he's doing very well.
And
So
UCF is a good engineering school too. My daughter is going there now, but not studying
yeah.
engineering. But I don't know what she's going to study yet. She hasn't decided yet.
Well, when I went to UCF, the joke was you can't finish, for the
Yeah.
letters, but you really can. But back then you just always felt that way. But I actually graduated, and it's a true story, 9 days before I had my daughter. So I walked on that stage, my belly was full, ready to drop my daughter. I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl at the time, but I
Uh-huh.
was 9 days before I delivered my daughter, walking on that stage to get that
Really?
diploma. Because
Wow, that's awesome.
because I when I had my son, I already had my associates, and because I was working full time and then I went to school at night. So I didn't have the luxury of doing the 4 years right away. So I had him, and then I kept going to school, working him, the school and stuff. And then I got pregnant again, and I said to myself, if I don't get it now, I'll never go back. With two
Yeah,
kids, you know. So fortunately, I was able to make that happen. In the last semester, I did 4 classes to make sure I graduated. I
that's
got it, so I
perfect.
was happy.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, that's very
yeah.
good. Would you mind doing a quick flex for me, Cheryl?
We'll see. Now
Yeah,
let's
you're
see if I
looking.
could get the. I should have wore a better shirt for you, but
Oh, that shirt's great though. Thank you. Wow, you
yeah,
look good. Yeah, you're looking
yeah.
really good, Cheryl.
So a
Yeah.
little bit, a little full there. So I'm happy. I'm really happy with the results that we're getting right now.
No,
And
that's
then
perfect.
I don't know if I'm like doing too much. I don't know. Can you see the quads a little bit?
I can. Yeah, I can see him. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting full there too. So I'm happy with all the stuff that he's doing right now. So
No, I think
we're
you look
definitely
terrific.
making some headway.
No, terrific. No, yeah, I think you look terrific, and I think it's a good move for you to work with Brandon. So, no, and wish you the best too, especially next year. Definitely keep you posted on your
Oh,
progress for next
definitely.
year. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll probably hook up again at the end of the year, do a follow-up, and see if I'm in prep yet or not.
that sounds good. That'd be terrific. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mhm.
And I'm sure I'll see you. Like I said, I'm in Tampa, so I'm not that far away. So I'll probably see you at a show sometime soon. I bet you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it was really good talking with you again, Cheryl, and thank you so much for your time. And like I said, I think you're just really inspirational, and I really appreciate you, inspiring people, being up on stage like that and just looking so awesome. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.